Despite the Gorge seeming rather challenging to beat by yourself, it is possible and frankly quite easy once you master the method. Completing this solo run will take about 20 minutes in 8 dishes. Utilization of this guide requires basic knowledge of the Gorge and its mechanics. To start, pick your character. It doesn't really matter who you choose, as this guide will work with most characters. Personally, I like either WX78 for his speed boost, Winona for being fast at most things, or Wilson for enhanced crockpot efficiency, which is the cooking station used most commonly throughout this guide. The first dish is always a snack. First, grab the hoe until 8 or so pieces of land. Once Mumsy finishes talking, grab the coins and buy a cookpot. Set up the cookpot rack and drop the actual pot on the ground. Head over to Sammy and purchase 2 packets of blue seeds to grow 8 wheat, and then plant them. Then walk around the starting area in a circle, collecting 1 stone, 1 berry and 1 foliage as you walk, along with a few manure. In the future you'll need at least 6 manure. Then place the berry, foliage and stone into the crockpot to make stone soup. You can use the signs lying around as fuel since they have no other use. Dish 2 is either going to be a bread dish or a vegetable dish. Vegetables are the optimal outcome, but it's still possible to complete this guide solo with bread. If the Gnaw requires a vegetable dish, run to the elder pig and gather 3 potatoes and 2 rot. Cook 3 potatoes in the crockpot to make potato soup. If the Gnaw requires a bread dish, buy an oven and set it up. Once 6 of the wheat growing reaches the first stage of growth, fertilize them each with manure and then grind it all into flour. Put this 3 flour into the oven and then cook, producing bread. Be careful as bread cooks very quickly, unlike most oven dishes. If dish 2 was bread, buy a salt rack from Billy and set it up, and then till 8 more crop spots. Skip this if dish number 2 was vegetables. Harvest all the wheat and turn them into flour. If bread was dish number 2, turn the remaining 2 wheat into flour. If the Gnaw requires a meat dish, buy a pigeon from Billy for meat and pick 2 foliage ferns. Murder the pigeon and put the meat and 2 foliage into the cookpot, and sacrifice the produced meatballs. If the Gnaw requires fish, buy a fishing rod from Billy and catch 1 fish, then collect 2 ferns. Place the salmon and 2 ferns into the cookpot, and sacrifice the produced fish stew. Dish 4 is always a dessert. There are 2 paths to take depending on whether you got bread or vegetables for dish number 2. If you got vegetables for dish 2, buy 1 blue seed packet, equivalent to 4 wheat, from Sammy, and then plant them. Check on your salt rack, which should be ready by now. Refine the salt and drop it off by the base. Gather 3 berries and cook them in the crockpot to produce a fistful of jam. If dish 2 was bread, buy 3 blue seeds, equivalent to 12 wheat, and then plant them. Check on your salt rack and refine the salt, dropping off the refined salt by the base. Gather 2 berries and put 2 berries and 1 flour into the oven to produce a jelly roll. Dish 5 will be a tomato soup, regardless of what the Gnaw desires, as tomato soup fits all of the possible desires for dish number 5. Soup, vegetables, or a snack. Purchase the key from Sammy for the sapphire medallion you got from the dessert round, and then purchase 1 spiky seed from Pipton, collecting 6 spotty sprigs along the way. Plant all 3 of the tomatoes, gathering manure and fertilizing 2 of them until they're fully grown. Check on the salt rack and grab the second salt crystal. Refine the 2 spot spice and 3 salt. Harvest all the wheat and turn them into flour. Empty your inventory except for the 6 salt and make a salt run to the elder pig, purchasing 2 keys from him. Unlock 2 of the safes and take exactly 2 silver bowls, 2 silver plates, and either a large cookpot or casserole dish, depending on how lucky you get with the safes. If you find both the large cookpot and the large casserole dish, only take 1, as you will be able to purchase the second one later on. Put 1 spot spice and 2 tomatoes into the cookpot, producing a tomato soup. Put the tomato soup in a silver bowl and sacrifice it for your first red mark. From now on, all dishes will be in silver bowls or plates. When purchasing goat milk, beware as it spoils very quickly. If your milk is stale or spoiled, don't be afraid to purchase more when you need it. If the Gnaw desires a meat dish, buy a pigeon from Billy. If you don't have them available, buy an oven and a large casserole dish. Harvest the 3rd tomato and purchase 3 goat milk fresh from the source with the red mark you got from the tomato soup. Put 1 meat scraps, 1 flour, 1 tomato, and 1 milk into the large casserole dish in the oven. Plate the produced pizza and sacrifice it for your first favour and a second red mark. If the Nor desires a bread dish, buy a large grill from Pipton. Gather 1 berry and purchase 3 milk from Mumsy. Put 1 berry, 1 milk, and 2 flour into the large grill to produce a scone. Plate the scone and sacrifice it for your first favour. If the Nor desires a fish dish, buy an oven if you don't have it. Buy 1 garlic seed pod from Pipton, and a large casserole dish if you don't have one. Plant 1 garlic seed and fully fertilise it. Catch 1 fish, purchasing a rod from Billy if you don't have one, and then purchase 3 milk from Mumsy. Cook 1 fish, 1 spot spice, 1 garlic, and 1 milk in a large casserole dish in the oven. Plate the produced creamy fish and sacrifice it for your first favour. As with dish 5, dish 7 is always macaroni and cheese, regardless of what the Nor requires. Simply put 2 flour and 1 milk into the crockpot. Beware as mac and cheese cooks rather fast. Put the mac and cheese into a silver bowl and sacrifice it for your second favour. Buy an oven and a large casserole dish if you don't already have them. Put 1 milk, 1 berry, and 2 flour into the large casserole dish and cook it. There's actually no need to plate the trifle for the dessert craving, as you'll get your third and final favour regardless. Now recharge the ancient key from Mumsy for 3 favours and give it to the sacrificial altar. Congratulations, you've soloed the Gorge with only 8 dishes. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time.